My name is Jacob Brace. I am a student from Harlingen Collegiate High. If you haven't heard of it, we're an early college high school, so as you would expect, I spend most of my time working on assignments from college courses. Throughout the school year, I've procrastinated, rushed, and blindly completed assignments because I didn't have enough time. I'm sure most students in general have dealt with this or are currently dealing with this, especially with reading and writing, or in my case, rhetoric and composition. So in this video, I wanted to talk about my personal experience with reading and writing in my class and how I grew as a writer through the THECBSLOs, or better known as a Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Student Learning Outcomes, and the work I did in class. However, before jumping in deeper, what are SLOs and what is rhetoric composition? SLOs, also known as Student Learning Outcomes, consist of critical thinking, oral, written, visual communication skills, teamwork, and personal responsibility. First, critical thinking is the ability to comprehend information by analyzing and evaluating logic, validity, and the relevance of the information to solve problems with well-reasoned conclusions and create and explore new questions. Secondly, communication skills, whether it be oral, written, visual, are the ability to adapt your communication to a specific context, audience, and purpose using language, genre conventions, and sources. Thirdly, teamwork is being able to effectively solve problems and complete tasks with others while showing respect to their different perspectives. Finally, personal responsibility is the ability to show awareness in different personal values and morals people use to make choices, actions, and consequences to ethically plan. Before my class, I wasn't very skilled in SLOs, so I'd rush out of procrastination that came from low confidence and understanding of my writing and reading abilities. My biggest problem, I was a surface level reader. I read the words but not the purpose. That's where critical thinking came in. During class, we'd complete assignments that helped us grow in these areas. What helped me with critical thinking were my reading journals number 1 through 4 and learner profile brainstorming number 1. Instead of just highlighting quotes, the journal forced me to think thoroughly, becoming sort of like a detective. I had to annotate the text, ask tough questions about the author's structure and connections, and consistently ask myself, what is the logic here? And is it credible? However, it's one thing to understand information, but it's another to explain it to someone. That's where the reading discussion assignments, like the in-class assignment about discussing the text Critical Thinking in College by Gita Dasbender, came in for oral communication. During this discussion, we didn't debate. This discussion forced me to form and collect my evidence and analysis for the convention, making me adapt my language for my classmates. Not only did I have to discuss the text, but I also worked in a group to collect this evidence and discuss ideas, creating and developing my skills in teamwork with others. For written communication, the assignment that helped me grow in the SLOs was revision and feedback. Specifically, the learner profile brainstorming number 2 peer review. It felt unnerving to show a draft, but receiving feedback made me realize that writing isn't meant to be perfect the first time. It's a trial and error process. This rhetorical awareness began to make me feel comfortable with my decisions about structuring and information because the advice I got from my peers made me aware of how the audience perceives my writing. The revision process was painful, but it's what transforms a rushed argument into a polished one. My final showcase for all these skills was the project learner profile. This is where my visual communication came into play. It wasn't just about words, it was about being able to use multimodal tools like colors, hand gestures, and photos that added relevance and were related to the assignment's context. This assignment also had me outline my personal morals and goals for the academic year. This project forced me to connect my choices in the classroom to the bigger idea of my ethical life and long term academic success. It helped me visually see my choices were influenced by this and what decisions I'd make because of my values. After months of this writing journey with rhetoric and composition, I went from frantically rushing on assignments to critically analyzing text and academically planning my work. However, my writing is my writing and learning isn't over. As I look further ahead, two questions still challenge me. First, how can I truly gauge the value of my peer feedback when my own bias thinks the work is perfect? And second, how do I close the gap between writing and creative visual tools? The point is, these SLOs don't just teach you to write, they teach you to think about your thinking. I know things are hard with assignments and your confidence in your ability to write, but rushing, stop rushing and start questioning. Learning from and questioning your mistakes will make you a greater writer. So don't expect to be great the first time or the next. Don't procrastinate, and remember, continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is a key to unlocking our potential.